to the DMF. I am your host, Justin Yance. This is episode 69, and this is the wrestling show. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the wrestling goings on this week. I'm going to talk about WWE. I'm going to talk about AEW. And I will talk about other things as well as one of my favorite moments on Raw. So stay tuned. So I'm going to talk about Jim Crockett Jr. He just died this Wednesday. And that's sad. I mean, when you think of Jim Crockett Jr., he's one of the guys that gave us Ric Flair. He gave us Dusty, Steamboat, Harley Race. I mean, he was the owner from 1976 to 1987. And he, enough can't be said about him. I mean, he one of the few people at that time that really could compete against Vince and tried. Now, they made mistakes along the way, but I mean, Jim Crockett, Ric Flair, the NWA, the Mid-Atlantic era, that's who we're talking about here. Jim Crockett Jr. is one of the people that brought Ric Flair to Charlotte, North Carolina, and the rest is history. I mean, when you think of just the impact that he put on this business. Now, he left after he sold the NWA, and he really stayed out of it. I mean, he actually started an ice cream parlor, but he did the interview with Conrad Thompson, and that kind of brought him back. And then, unfortunately, he got sick, and he died of COVID, complications from COVID. He had COVID, and then his other sicknesses, it came in. I mean, it's very unfortunate. I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking about trying to maybe do a tribute episode to Jim Crockett Jr. because, I mean, he just left such an indelible print on the business. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm talking out loud now, but I am going to probably do that. I'm going to do some kind of a tribute to Jim Crockett Jr. I need to do a little more research so that I have more to go on. Let's talk a little bit about the AEW possible signing. So this week on AEW, the Big Show came out. The former Big Show came out. Paul White came out and said that he has a scoop on a Hall of Fame worthy character debuting at AEW Revolution. Now, that could be a number of people. That could be maybe Kurt Angle. Some people have speculated Mark Henry, but I believe he's under contract to WWE, so I don't see that happening. People said Christian, but we believe he's under contract as well. Could it possibly be Brock Lesnar? I mean, that would be a huge get. I can't think of, who else is worthy of that, moniker? It has to be a Brock Lesnar. It has to be a CM Punk. CM Punk has said on Twitter that it's not him, but nobody's going to believe him till that actually happens. But yeah, I mean, there's all this speculation of what's going to happen and where it's going, and I don't know, and no one knows. So it's kind of exciting. I mean, let's hope it's not somebody like Nash or Hogan, which it could be. Could be Hogan or Nash. I just think that that's kind of lame. That's like, oh, let's bring out the old guys. I mean, if they get a Brock Lesnar, now that's something. Who knows? It could be Brock Lesnar. It could be CM Punk. We don't know. A lot of us think it's probably going to be Kurt Angle, but if it's Kurt Angle, that's not that big. That's not big enough. Not for what they're advertising. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see how this goes. Let's talk a little bit about the other news that came out this week. NXT is moving to Tuesday. possibly, well, we believe that the week of WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, that week, they're going to switch to Tuesdays because of the NHL. But this is great. Finally, AEW could be unopposed. We can see them finally get the 1.2 and start to build the audience that wouldn't go there because they were going head to head with NXT. A lot of people think that this isn't going to lead to much, but I say if it's a 1.2 that they're making now, that's progress, and that shows how far that they're growing. Now they need to grow it to like a 1.5. Then they need to get it to a 2. Just keep going up and up and up. But as long as they continue to do the good booking that they're doing, and some people don't like it, but they put a lot of thought into their booking, and you can see that. So, I don't know. I think this is a good move for all. One, I can actually now watch NXT because I wasn't watching NXT. Now that it's going to be on Tuesday, I'll watch it. I think Impact is going to need to move to Thursday. I mean, they own the network. They might as well just move to Thursday. Stay away from, WWE. So we'll have, so it'll be Raw, NXT, AEW, maybe Impact, SmackDown. I think that's an interesting way to go about it. But NXT on Tuesday is good for everybody because the people that want to watch AEW weren't going to watch NXT. And NXT has a good show. It's not AEW level good, but I'd like to watch it. So I think it's a good move for all around. I'm excited, not just because I think it's going to help AEW, but I'll actually be able to watch NXT and let's see what they can do unopposed. Let them build their audience. They were just shoved out there to try and make AEW fail, to make it so that AEW would be considered, would just fail and would go out of business, which is sad that they would do that because somebody found a quote of Vince McMahon saying that he wishes WCW would have just left them alone and did their own thing. Well, the shoe's on the other foot now, and you did the exact same thing, so it's very hypocritical of them, but come on, this is Vince McMahon we're talking about. Not a lot of values here, unless it's the dollar. But I'm excited for AEW Revolution. This is going to be an exciting show. So let's go through some of the card here. The main event is Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega and an exploding barbed wire death match. It doesn't get any better than that. That's going to be really cool. A lot of people don't like the blood and guts type of thing, but I do, especially when it's done well. And those two are going to do it well. I liked their last match that they had at I forget what the name of the show was that they where Moxley and Omega fought, and the big bloody brawl where they used barbed wire and everything, and that kind of paved the way for Moxley to take the title from Jericho. So it led to a lot of things, and now, Omega came around, he defeated Moxley for the title. So now we're at this point. This is, I guess, the blow-off match. I don't see Moxley winning, but I can't wait. I think this is going to be really fun. We got Sting and Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, Team Taz. That should be fun. It's supposed to be part cinematic. I'm excited for that. And Sting can take bumps now, so that should be good. Hikaru Shida versus I still can't pronounce her name. I can't pronounce her name. I feel bad. I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce the name here, but I can't figure out how to pronounce this woman's name. Let's see. I'm just going to look it up. Normally I would do this before, but you know what? We'll just do it here. Okay, yeah. So we got Hikaru Shida versus Ryo Mizunami, who has been really great in this tournament, so that should be good. The Young Bucks versus the Inner Circle. That should be good. Hangman Adam Page versus Matt Hardy. Whoever wins gets the other's earnings. Face of the Revolution ladder match: Cody Rhodes versus Scorpio Sky versus Penta El Zero. Mito versus Lance Archer. I can never pronounce that, Penta's full name thing. Max Caster, and then somebody new who we don't know, but that's not the person that Big Show brought out. And the winner gets a TNT title opportunity, or number one contender for that, because we don't stay away from words like that. Miro and Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. I expect Orange Cassidy to win this one. The Casino Team Tag Team Battle Royal. And on the buy-in, we have Rio and Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel. Good show. I think this show's going to be great from top to bottom. And if they start the show off with this huge announcement, you're off to a huge start. I can't wait. It's going to be such a great show. I think this has the potential to be one of AEW's best pay-per-views, as well as its most in-depth pay-per-view. So I'm excited. I say buy it. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about AEW, and then we'll talk about WWE. So AEW Dynamite this week was amazing. I thought this was a great show. A great show that built to AEW Revolution, which is very important. So I thought the countdown, let's talk about the countdown. The countdown was great. It really made you want to watch this pay-per-view. And they had Onita talking about it. One of the most famous explosion death matches you'll ever see. If you like blood, watch that match. That's the one that like a lot of tape traders watched. Shaq and Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet and Cody Rhodes. I thought Shaq looked great here. He is so big and so impressive. He should be like Andre the Giant. And I thought he gave a great performance. And I know some people were like, I thought he was great. Jade Cargill, she showed she's really good. What an amazing athlete. Her first match on the big stage. I think maybe she did some dark matches. Great job. She wins the match, defeating Red Velvet with the former Glamazon move, which is a perfect move for her because she has such power and strength. I think she's great. If Tessa Blanchard could get her, head together and, make amends with everybody, she'd be a perfect fit to face somebody like a Jade Cargill. I thought that was great. Shaq took the bump through the two tables, and then they lowered him into the ambulance, and they opened the doors, and he was gone. So I gotta imagine he's coming back. Probably they'll do the Big Show and Shaq match because people wanting to see that. FTR versus Jurassic Express. This was I thought this was a really good match. We got to see Tully Blanchard, and he could still go. They won the match. Great. FTR won the match. This was a good match. Go out of your way and see it. They had the inner circle, like little debate thing. And Conrad Thompson showed up for that, as well as Eric Bischoff. And keep Eric Bischoff in mind because I will bring him back up soon. The main event wasn't great, but the show... Okay. But yeah, no, and then one other match that was really great there, Rio Mizunami versus Nyla Rose. This was a great match. Mizunami, sorry about that. If Mizunami can get a great match out of Nyla Rose, then Hikaru Shida is just going to be an amazing match. So I thought this was a great AEW show, and it's going to build. it's going to build to what we're going to see at Revolution. So let's talk about WWE. Let's get it over with. Raw. Raw was built around Bobby Lashley potentially facing The Miz. Now, it was supposed to happen at the top of the hour of the 9 o'clock hour. And Miz doesn't show up, and he says he has food poisoning or he's sick. And Bobby Lashley grabs him and throws him there. I don't know why he didn't just drag him to the ring. Well, you know why, because WWE wants this to continue going out. So then they finally say they're going to have the match at the 10 o'clock hour. Miz comes out. He tries to get out of it again. And then he just takes the belt and runs to the back and gets himself counted out. Really lame. Made me hate Miz so much. I so hate this character. I mean, there is nothing like he looks like a joke. Taking the belt and just running. You know, he didn't get himself DQ, just runs away. Like, okay, so he's a baby. So lame. I don't know why anyone would ever allow themselves to be portrayed like that. There's nothing redeeming about it. Miz comes off like such a joke. Such a joke. So then the third time, Shane McMahon comes out and says, we're going to have the match. And then he says, we're going to have lumberjacks. And I guess that means it's no DQ. And Bobby Lashley destroys The Miz. And it was glorious to watch. So glorious to watch The Miz just get destroyed by Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley has been probably the best booked guy since Drew McIntyre. I said that last week, and I mean it. And he deserves this title. And he deserves to hold it for a while. Maybe he holds it past WrestleMania. I don't think he will, but way to go, Bobby. You deserve this. He rebuilt himself in TNA or Impact, and now he's in WWE, and he's rebuilt himself again. And the Hurt Business, and seeing MVP and all those guys, and they took a picture backstage. I'm so happy for him. I mean, Bobby Lashley was a babyface here tonight. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a babyface moving forward, but man, he took the title from Miz. 6-minute match. The way it needed to be. The Miz should have had no offense, and he didn't get any offense. He just got destroyed. Bobby Lashley is the WWE champion the right way to do it. I mean, the rest of the show was awful. Braun Strowman looks dumb, but Bobby Lashley looked like a superstar here. I was very happy with this win. I'm very happy with Bobby Lashley winning. So, third time's a charm. Bobby Lashley is the WWE champion. That's the only thing that mattered on Raw. Go watch it. It's good stuff. SmackDown. Daniel Bryan comes out, cuts a great promo, and then Roman Reigns comes out and he says, that's not love, and, does another great promo. Different from Daniel Bryan's, passionate thing. So the whole show was really built up around that. Right before Daniel Bryan, Jay was doing an interview backstage, and Daniel Bryan just kicked him right in the back of the head. And it goes back to the interview where he said, he's not the same Daniel Bryan anymore. I'm the guy who is going to take what is mine. And I like that. I like that Daniel Bryan. I hope that maybe he does end up at WrestleMania. I think he should. He's one of the best characters. So then Daniel Bryan has the cage match with Jey Uso, and he wins. And it was so cool because he had him in the S-lock, and he got to the rope, and the ref was telling him to break. And it's like, there's no rope break in the cage. So he just kept it on, and then he made him tap. And it was great. And then he got on there, and shades of the last time when he really rebooted himself, doing the yes chant on top of the cage. When with Roman Reigns just standing, sitting in his chair on the, below the cage, just looking up, upset because his, cousin didn't get the job done. So that was good. So I am going to get my Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns match, and I can't wait. It's going to be a great match, and it's going to show why Daniel Bryan is the best worker in WWE. and why he should be at WrestleMania. The only other thing that really happened was Apollo Crews is now like an African warrior. I kind of like it. Some people hate it because it kind of feels like a put on accent, but you know what? It works. He's got the two militant guys in back of him. Let's see where it goes. I'm all for new characters, and I think Apollo Crews is a great worker. Let's see what he can do with this. I'm happy for him. But Daniel Bryan, yeah, he wins. Redemption here. It's Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. I cannot wait. I've been wanting to see this match for so long, and this is the perfect guy for Roman Reigns to face. The guy who's had everything handed to him versus the guy who had to work for everything. I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited. And yeah, when we come back, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite Raw moments. So here we are. I'm talking about July 15th, 2002 Raw. And what happens on this show that's significant? The return of Eric Bischoff. Now, as a younger child at this time, I was very excited when they had made the announcement of a new general manager. And my hopes were Eric Bischoff. Like everyone else had forgotten about him, but I was still playing him on like No Mercy and in video games because I always loved his character. I liked that smarmy character that he played. And I was so excited. I was like, who could it be? Please let it be Bischoff. It's got to be Bischoff. It's got to be Bischoff. And he shows up and he shakes Booker T's hand. And I was ecstatic. And then he did the thing with Vince McMahon. He comes out and they had the big hug and everything. Now, here's something people don't know. Is that when he came out, he did not have the I'm Back song yet. He came out to Back in Black by AC/DC. You don't get to a better, cooler song than that, Back in Black. I kind of was hoping he was going to come down to the Showdown music that he used to come down to in WCW, but Back in Black is so cool. That's why when he comes out on the WWE Network version, you can't hear the actual crowd because it's changed because they had to put in the version, the I'm Back song, which was never on there. It was Back in Black by AC/DC, and which frustrates me. So when you hear the actual Back in Black version, you can hear the actual reaction of the crowd, and it is huge and amazing because nobody was expecting that except for me because I was hoping for it every day. And when he came back, I was like, yes, finally, he's back. Eric Bischoff is back in professional wrestling. And I was so excited. And it's one of my favorite moments. Now, I got to say, the way he was used was well, but they didn't use him to the ability they could have used him. They used him to be bossed around way too much, where he should have been the character, the last guy you get to before you can beat him up. And they, messed with him way too much to make it really mean anything. But, that's WWE. They don't plan anything out. But that first moment when he comes out and he shakes Vince's hand and then they hug and they hold up their hand, you see the whole locker room and everybody's upset. That was great. And he comes down and he cuts the promo and he says, when he was talking about ruthless aggression, who did you think he was talking about? One of the best moments in Raw, one of the best moments in Ruthless Aggression era. I love what, Eric Bischoff did in that role. I mean, he came off as like this general manager type character, this like sleazy agent who's only in it for money and is just like, I want to make the best show ever possible so I can make money. I didn't like it when they threw him to the Lions with Austin and stuff like that. It was like they were kind of like using him as the excuse for why ratings were down. And I'm like, he's not the reason. Your booking is the reason ratings are down. But when he first came, he comes down in the black suit and everything. You know, that was one of the things that I liked that he did when he did the New Blood thing. He had the black suit, you know, he was wearing more of the suits. Whereas he's more of a jeans and the, you know, the leather jacket type guy. I mean, there's the rumor that every town that he went to, he would buy $1,000 leather jacket and then leave it in the in the arena that he went to. You know, I don't know if that's completely true, but it sounds like something that he would do at that time when he was on top of the world. But yes, Eric Bischoff on WWE. A lot of people never thought that could happen. This is what should have happened at Invasion. If he was leading Invasion, I think it would have changed the perception of it just being WWE versus WWE. If you had the head WCW guy versus Vince McMahon, that would have been so much better than having a bunch of McMahons and that stupid crap that they ended up doing. Because, you know, if there's anything we've learned, let's just add more McMahons. That'll make everything better. But Eric Bischoff, he was great in the role, and that original entrance when he comes out is just awesome. And if you can find the original entrance with the ACDs back in black, you'll hear the actual crowd reaction. Although when he shows up backstage with when Booker T is doing an interview, you can hear the pop of the crowd. Huge moment, one of my favorite moments. I just love it, and I love that Eric Bischoff character. And with that, I think we're done for this week. I want to thank you for listening, as always, and watch AEW Revolution, because I am definitely going to do a show for that. And I'm going to try and think of a show to do about Jim Crockett Jr. It might take a little bit of time because I want to do some research on this, but I do want to do that. I want to thank you for listening. I want to say, as always, you can reach me at my handle, at Justin Yance, and I will see you next time on the DMF.